can shout oh, everyday palava. Now what's in the album we dey talk about? I can shout oh, everyday palava. No, everyday palava. Now what's in the album we dey talk about? I can shout oh, everyday palava. Yeah. Everyday palava. No. What's in the album we dey talk about?
My people, now welcome to this our program wey we dey call I Can Shout. Today the matter we dey for ground now another ogbonge matter wey be say that one if it cause wahala for inside house, and then again you go fit dey think say may God no follow me vex o, but we no know till we go hear wetin our people for outside and my brother here and myself we go talk am make you see how we go reason am out. The topic for today na say you go let your only pikin join father or reverend sister. Then na wetin we wan reason today. But before we continue, abeg make una subscribe, touch that bell wey dey for there, that notification bell too, and make una like us because we like una too. We like as una dey give us a report say una like the show, una dey put comments for there. We thank una too. Yes. So today, Austin, what do you think? If person only one pikin dey job born, and no be say another pikin dey come from another side, you don born this pikin don reach like 16, 17. Say you wan go join father, or you wan go be reverend sister. How you want talk am?
You go born another one.
How you want to born another one? Say na the only pikin. No, yeah, say na only pikin. That means say before you reach only pikin, that means say another hope no dey where another one dey come.
What say hope no dey?
At which age? If person don born 17 years, the person don nearly reach 50.
But the thing be say the pikin by the time we go talk say we wan go be reverend father or reverend sister, maybe na the age of 16, 17, 18. And then we go say we wan go the seminary or whatever. So ideally the man or the parents go probably dey in their 40s. So the day when the pikin drop that bomb, and when I say you no wan change your mind, you revert to plan B.
Okay, wetin come be plan B?
You born another one.
No, you don't work like that now. You don't work like that.
People they born at the age of 60 these days.
No, be that one. That kind of waka, your pikin just come talk say, I'll go first and say you dream. God come meet you, you dream see and say, God say me you go be father.
Wait till me I go tell her. They say, okay, I no get problem with that one. Whether you want to be father or want to be sister. Or make you do me one favor.
Make a bunky for ground.
Make you go through university first. Go get degree. You get what I'm saying? Because when you do secondary school now, different life with that.
Yes.
Now when you enter higher education, that's a complete different ball game.
If you reach that side now, say life sweet, go do father.
Now that time you go know whether na say the two way they push you whether na true calling.
Or something else they call you.
Or something else.
When you cut the name of your papa and mama short, you say you only boy. You go say you want go join. I go beg and say I beg. All na God you dey serve, go join pastor. Father, I beg make father people don't follow me first or reverend sister.
If them be Catholics and he wants to be a priest, if he's truly called, there's nothing anybody can do about it.
When I true that one too, God go help and make the mama and papa the reason and that way.
Then go pray.
That's a title.
Like me, I talk, I go tell them, okay, what you go do first? They say, I'm not gonna stop you, but make you go get one degree first. Now that time you go take makeup, really make up, you say how life be, then make up your mind whether this is now where I belong or
you
not.
You want to do it?
Yes.
My people.
Because if you tell people say, no, you must not, you can be, you know if you do it.
No, that kind of thing na style, style. You first just face. I'll just face. As I did, so I'll just feel confused.
It's very difficult though. You know?
I'll just feel confused. But you know what, my people, we'll be right back. Maybe we'll go see what outside people they talk on this matter.
Everyday palava. Now what's in the album we dey talk about? I can shout
If you get only one pikin, boy or girl, the pikin can't decide saying one be reverend father or reverend sister. How you go do am? Wetin go be your reaction?
I no go agree, because I want grandchildren. I no go agree.
But now the work of God now.
I know say na what work of God. If I get them two, make one go, make one give me children. I want grandchildren.
I don't get any kind of reaction to that one because I'm a Christian and a born again. I know the word. So if my pikin decide say today me want become Reverend Father, I don't get any objection. No. My own, that's go for it. I don't get problem with that one at all.
I no go tell her say make my son or my daughter anyone will say he won't become a Reverend Father or Reverend Sister because it may be God go call him. Now God call him for that area. So I no go tell her say make she no go. I no go tell because of worldly something tell her say make she no go or make you no become her sister or Reverend Father. I no go tell her.
Me as a person, I don't have problem with that. Anything they want to become, they are free. Personally.
You don't mind say you no go get grandchildren?
It's not possible. It's not a must. Even if God don't want them to get God don't want me to get grandchildren. If they marry, they cannot have issue. So just allow them, let them do whatever they want to.
The occupation, now their choice, now calling. If not calling, God call them to be Reverend Father. If not free word, you should go. You know me now. In as much as God call them to be Reverend Father, no wahala. In as much as it pleases God, no wahala. I cannot stop my child from what he wants to be in life. When I know it's a better thing, not be criminal.
I agree because one God creates, but different maker make. I agree because it's the word of the Almighty God. I'm who I am by God's grace. Nobody decide for me. But if I happen to born only one child, they say one become Reverend Father, he's free to go. I don't have a problem with that. He should go. Grandchildren, some people don't even marry, talk more of children. But on my own opinion, I go allow me to go. He is choosing his own destiny. If he wants to go, he should go. I've given you the path to follow. So that's your own fact. My responsibility is to train you to be able to be okay and say this is what I want to be. Then before deciding that, you go get many options. This is what I want to be. Then before you even bold enough, maybe 1 or 2 days, I don't like say I want you to be this. But if you cannot be what I want you to be, then you be what you want to be on your own. Because nobody knows where the salvation will come from. It's the work of God, I cannot oppose it.
My only picking, I will not agree for him to become a Reverend Sister or Reverend Father. I will not agree that one.
But now God work now. How you feel about that?
Because yes, it's not God work depend because some of them they're on the way, they will change. On the way will change and it will not be God work again. The devil will not start using it. So me, I don't believe that one. Only child will start Reverend Father or Reverend Father. No. I will ask him over and over. And if I'm sure that the Reverend Father really mean it, I will allow him. But if he did not mean it, just on the later on, he will just drop on the way and say he wanted to become a Reverend Father and now starting abusing that Reverend Father. Me, I will not take it from him. Me, I don't believe in that one. My only child to become a Reverend Father. Me, I don't.
If you get one pikin now, the pikin can't decide to be Reverend Father or Reverend Sister. How you go handle the situation?
Well, the truth be say me I no be Catholic, so I no fit say my pikin no go fit become Reverend Father or Reverend Sister. If na my only pikin, any decision when he make na olden days na parents they decide for pikin wetin he wan do. But these days, anyone wey the pikin choose, if he choose to marry, I support. If he choose not to marry, I support.
Now be the better thing when go even happen to me. If my pikin say he won't be father, my own na to pray, make he dey successful na that career to become father. Because if he be father, he be better father. When he dey pray, that blessing, na me go dey get am before every other person go.
Now your only pikin be this, oh.
It no matter. I carry any pikin when I dey come this world. When them born me, I follow. Nobody follow me come. At least na only me them born. I no be twins. So as e be say na my only pikin, and they can't choose to serve God. Na God na give me that pikin. Na me with God go follow drag am. How them go talk that kind thing?
Okay. No. I no go fit. Yeah, who go train me? I mean, who go take care of me when I don dey old? When I get only one girl or only one boy, I can't tell me say I wan go do father. No, me I no go take that one. No. The person must stay with me. You see, because as we dey grow old. Our children, our pikin them, now so they're supposed to take care of us. So you can't tell me now say pikin won't go do reverend father or reverend sister. You no go good now. That means say my home don't dey empty with that. So you no go work like that. Now God work. God create everybody for your own image. You see am. So you they tell me say because of God work. If we fit do God for our own house, therefore our family do God work. No be say you can't tell me say my pikin won't come out, go they do. Who go come take care of me? You see am. So for me, to my own opinion, me I don't go fit take am. I don't go fit take that kind of thing. If my pikin marry come up for house, that one I get as me I take see am. If marry come up for house, no mean say you no go come dey see me. But if you see person wey be say they do father, he go dey engage well. You see am, he go dey very engaged. But person wey be say a marry come up for house, tomorrow if you tell am say come my pikin come, or he go fit carry him own children wey he don born, they will come visit you. He go dey make you happy. You see say different day between person wey go do reverend father and person wey marry. Come later come back, maybe with your own children wey you don born, come back, come see me, come greet me for house. You see say na different thing. Father no dey born o, or reverend sister no dey born o. And I no go fit see my grandchildren. So make you think am well. So I go support the one wey be say maybe your pikin don marry. Yes, tomorrow if you carry your own children come, make dem come see you and your mind go dey sweet you well. So na so I dey say am.
Depends on the belief when the parents get. To me, I attend Pentecostal church. So none of my pikin go fit tell me say one go become reverend father because I no believe in that one. But for people when they go Catholic, I don't see several people when say if you say you won't follow God, I carry you give God. Go ahead and do that. There is no problem. If it is the will of God, fine. But if not be the will of God, if that child go, he go most surely come back. Now it be my take.
If my only pikin decide say go be reverend sister, I not go happy with her because only in my get is supposed to get follow. You supposed to get brothers and sisters follow himself, make the family large. The man say na God word, but God go see. God, the man I not go agree. I not agree at all. I not agree at all.
I go along because I don't know whether na her call. If actually say na God call am, he go do am well. Because if na God call am, I stop am from doing it. He go dey do another thing. The thing no go favor am. Now that one when God call am and he know say God call am and he won't respond, na him he go do. Life go better for am.
Nothing wey dey bad inside o. As far as say na God, na he wan do am for. No problem. Me I go take am like that.
So you no mind say no grandchildren?
I no mind no because now technology don't do everything cause dey easy. I fit go adopt. So I go come still get grandchildren. So nothing, I don't see anything way bad inside. As far as na the will of God do. Nothing bad inside.
Okay, oh, my people, we are welcome back. So this is our show where we dey call I Can't Shout. The matter when we dey talk to the way they ground say. If now only one pikin you get, you go let am go be reverend sister, and you go let am go be reverend father. So now the matter when me and my brother here they talk, Austin. So we not don't hear wetin outside people talk. People come back here and I come talk the matter again. So Austin, how you they talk say if it be say now the thing where the pikin say want do.
Then and you don't make up your mind. Now no fit push her, now no fit stop her. Then you and your wife go now decide say okay, maybe it is time for us to make we go to plan B.
Okay, wetin come with the plan B?
Now to go born another one.
What if you not go fit born another one?
Hey.
The plan B na to go to Jesus or to go to God to say God, you not get to be Reverend Father. In fact, at that time, you want to come up from the Reverend, from the Catholic, I'll go join Pentecostal.
No, but
say, okay, my dear, honor God with this. Let us go and join Pentecostal. I know say you go fit still marry. Because imagine now, if na boy, now that one not even serious pass. Woman own, oh okay. The boy where they carry the name. Now I want to tell you say this name .com in one turn. In one full stop for this place.
But the point we say, if the guy really they called by God, make him go become father.
God know they choose the place where person say na there as long as na the same one place, na the same God.
How you know? We can tell you. It may happen. And then you forcefully say, no, you must not go. You know go be father. You know
I know we shout and come out like that. Now style.
No, but whichever style where you can't use, and that will be the life where the guy won't live. The layman's life. How is this same life will be? You go be miserable.
I don't think so.
Secondly, shame na person will carry your name back and forth. I mean, now you they look for. What if you say, okay, you must not be father because now he be the only child. You go marry and you know if you born.
Hey, that one they go say na God punish him. No.
So that's why I talk. Say if na God really call him, nobody feels stop him.
But the thing tight, sha. Okay, but how about a case where na say na the papa and the mama push the pikin say, oh no, it go good, may you go be father,
Then you do and within see the
pikin can reach there now.
It go do 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yes,
you go remain small before they ordain him. You go come out.
You go say no do again.
Why might they talk now? You get to make sure say now God really call you.
But no, but Austin, that one tight. Because even as Reverend sister and this thing. Because like for me, as a human being, I not say anybody tell you, but on my own. Me no agree with that law where they say, make person don't marry you if you serve God, say God father or anything.
No be law.
They're supposed to don't change that
law. No be law.
And then I'm waiting.
No be law.
And I'm waiting now.
Na choice. If you know say you fit do it, go in. People don't do it. If you know say you don't fit do it, nobody dey force you. Go do something else.
We go do pastor, normal pastor.
Go do wetin else you want do. But this is not how we want conduct ourselves. Not be say na law say you must not. We dey see some people where even don't become father self, still they come out, go get the kid outside.
How many law case we get for here? For America, where we say father don't waka, you'll be away, you won't go for another wrong move where you move. Because of that kind of waka.
Nobody say you must to be a reverend father. If you want to serve God, if you serve God in different ways, like you talk, go be pastor for whatever it is. Go Bible school, go seminary yourself, come up, set up your own church.
But the thing when you talk, it makes sense. If you go just tell the pikin say, okay, you know what, and also make you no go, but just go university, come out, make you experience life small, see as it is for body. Then after that time, you go come decide whether true you want join for that. But for that, you get cut off point. You get the time when they say, oh, you don't too old, you know.
No. But when you come out now, you go to the major seminary. You know, but to me, I think they say it be like say you transfer from one school to another. Your credits they go follow you. The ones where you are really applicable, they go take. You know, but at that point, they go believe say, okay, you don't get mature enough to make a decision for yourself by yourself. The age no be limit for how you will feel serve God.
But me, I don't know whether for like the seminary now or
no,
the Reverends
no, at all.
It
be like when you see people waiting in their 60s, 70s, where they go get first degree for university.
But you know that kind of thing. Another thing they say, this is what you say may go because maybe the mind for people where they go join father, maybe they never taste woman, they never taste man. You know, so they might just say, okay, man, don't go there. I don't know what thing it be anything. But when you taste those kind of worker for outside, you can't come back, come inside house.
But
say,
but you know, say you get some way go taste them, and they go say that will be the life for them. Human beings stay like that. They go look at them and see how things they go. You know, they will sit down, consider all the implications maybe for marriage and all that stuff.
That
would be for me.
Yeah, but I think that had it go be strong choice for Papa and Mama.
But the probability, say person we don't go through university, go get degree, come and say they go seminary.
They very yes, now small. That one, I don't know whether they're plenty.
Yeah, so that is why I go tell my pikin, okay, just do me one favor. Go get one degree first for university. When you finish, at that time now you're still young now, you're probably what, 22. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
about 22, 21,
yes.
22, 23.
Yes.
And you still feel enter, go do seminary, major seminary. Before you 30, then go ordain you. You know, if that are waiting,
then I'm waiting. Be say another one now you're gonna say, okay, God really called the person.
Yes,
but
exactly.
But for the mama and papa, me that can work out. Just first say, okay, before you go to seminary, try born one or two.
No, but as a matter of fact, that are waiting. I think they're supposed to do because the rate where some of them they take come up from seminary.
Yes.
You know, the things don't be high now. You get what I'm saying? When they come up straight from secondary school, enter
inside.
And they get some will be saying now from the minor, you know, so they get minor seminary and then they get major. Yeah, the minor now like secondary school, then the major now like the university. Some don't enter from there all through. But with those ones, they get easier because the mind don't get formed from that little age. Yeah. But you just in secondary school, okay, you won't be father. Nobody say you cannot be or say you don't feel be.
Yes.
You know. But for an only child, as we did discuss.
Only pikin title. Man no lie.
I told I will tell them, for us, make we know say, yes, truly, that are waiting you want to. Make you first go to university. Go get one degree. When you come out and you still want to do, we don't get hand.
Not true, sure. Not true.
But you cannot force, you know, if you force and say, you must not go, you must not
go.
No,
that one, you force. No, the people will carry that kind of mind. You know, they force them on that pet. You go, they pet them. You go, they pet them.
And in the same token, you know, say, you get some families where we say, all the children, they either the reverend father or reverend sister.
You say waiting?
Oh, yes.
I bet my people, when I hear that one, wait, and they come, make we take break, we go be right back.
Everyday palava. Now it's in the album we talk about.
My people, how you dey be now? My name na TC Okafor, aka TC Virus, aka Oga Director, aka One Neck Otoya. Wetin I carry come? The show na I Can Shout. You can use shout, you know be shout now. You don't subscribe. Bridget John TV. Now where you dey share? Go and subscribe. Make it feel the banking.
So wait, my people, the one way Austin they talk just now say the whole family just want go be father, the whole family want be sister. Now waiting.
You did.
Then they take until they win walk up.
You did.
No. That one gets
it will guarantee so that go get mansion for heaven.
It's again not lie. That one not be true. Say go get mansion for heaven. Who told that one? No. See, my own thing be say, if you be say my only pikin say I get only one pikin now, so that pikin say one go do reverend sister or reverend father. I'll just beg and say, don't try, my pikin, make you born one or born two. After you don't born those one, where I know say. No be saying our family won't end for that level. Go, if you go do father.
How you go do that kind of father?
Which I don't do father.
How they go take her when they don't born pikin finish?
Oh, they don't say father if you don't born?
No.
Or reverend sister if you don't born?
No.
That kind of law is title.
That's now why they call them, you got to live a life of celibacy.
And that means say, okay, when you say celibacy, that means say make the person never have sex, make the person never know woman, make the person never know man.
If you don't know before you join, then and then, but not while you don't enter.
Well, you see the thing don't.
If you don't get pikin outside, you don't feel say you won't go be father, you won't go be sister. That one no mean say we no get some of them where they go born outside though. Some do.
And but that one is different because you know if you come outside, come talk say you get pikin for one place.
Exactly.
You know, me they talk of the thing we go fit continue the family.
But
you know,
now for Africa, where would they think like that? Family name. Waiting they attach to that family name. The family will take and go collect money from one bank.
Okay, even if not be name by you know legacy. Say okay, person they say now only one son or only one pikin. So when that pikin just don't reach the age now, don't old. The whole of that person lineage don't finish now.
What if say now what picking where you get and something happen, complications there between you and your wife, and don't forget picking again. God forbid the picking die.
That one I say God don't want me the person die tonight.
Now the same thing will be the talk.
No be the same. No be the same. No be the same.
You know better me the picking tell you say, look, I want to go serve God with my life. You know if you stop her.
No, you know if you stop her. The thing are very tight thing.
It hard.
Very tight thing.
It will give the parents heartache. But when
especially if only one.
But now God's will. That one are the test of your faith.
I beg not be Abraham. God I beg. You know say that kind of thing. I take God beg you. I dey take God beg God. God.
You take God beg God. God, I take God beg you.
I beg God.
That is not my portion.
No, that is not. I don't want to that kind of thing. That one tight. That one tight. But anyway, my people, when I don't hear out today, now the matter we dey talk today, say if person pikin say, wetin we go do? Wetin the person go do? I go. Exactly. How? We go like to hear, we go want to know. Because you see this program, now the kind things where some people know they think, now we they think am quick, say, okay, maybe we ask people how this thing won't be so true. If we know say, oh, now like this, I want to take run ammo, you go know how you, when that time come, how you want to run am. So until next time, oh, now me, your girl, Bridget, and my brother, Austin. Okay, we go see you again. Make una don't forget to subscribe, and make una like us and push the notification button. Absolutely. We like you now. Until next time, I can shout.
I can shout.